It's a time of anticipation in the Bluegrass State. The Kentucky Derby just around the corner, as is college football season, where the spring offers a reflection of the fall. We've reached the home stretch of spring football in the Derby City, and tonight we'll get a sneak peek of the season to come under the lights at L&N Stadium. A time of hope and optimism here in the Louisville Spring Game. A sunny, breezy evening in Louisville. A couple of weeks away from the run for the Roses. 4 months away from seeing football players break out of the starting gate as fans wonder what's in the cards for 2024. If it's anything like the start of last season, they'll be fine with that. Started 6-0 under Jeff Brom, then stubbed their toe against Pitt, but rebounded to win their next 4 games. 10-1, top 10 in the playoff rankings, then finished with a thud. Losses to Kentucky. ACC championship game against Florida State in the Holiday Bowl loss to USC. Tonight, the unofficial start of year 2 under head coach Jeff Brom. Welcome into the stadium. Match check along with Rod Gilmore. And Rod, a lot of programs would have loved to have had a season like the Cards had last year. Top 20 finish, 10-win season, but at the same time in the year 2024, it can be really challenging to maintain momentum.
Yeah, 2023 might have been a surprise, but that is over with. The expectations by fans is high, but also with the staff and the players. Jeff Brom expects this team to compete for the ACC championship. He's upgraded the talent, says this is a talented team, more talented than last year, more depth, brought in 24 transfers, guys who have experience, including starting experience.
A lot of new faces in new places, but a familiar face is at the helm at Louisville. Up next, we'll chat with the head coach, Jeff Brom. As no nonsense as they come, as tough as they come, ever since his playing days.
Brom, how in the world are you starting this game tonight after taking that hit just 6 days ago?
Well, let me answer that question by asking you 2 questions. One, is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. 2, do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
Oh, the slow-mo belies the fast start that Jeff Brom and company got off to last year. 6-0 start, 10-win campaign, the best start for a Louisville head coach in his first year in nearly 100 years. Jeff Brom down on the field with Rod. Rod?
Jeff, I know you want to keep everybody healthy. Key things you're looking for tonight?
Well, I think in these situations, you got to come out and you want to see execution from both sides of the ball. You want to see guys play hard. You want to make sure that we're doing all the small things correctly, getting lined up, getting the calls, and then, of course, after that, who's going to emerge as playmakers. So you got to find some playmakers in this scrimmage.
Matt?
Let's play some football. Let's get it going. Red-white game. A lot of eyes going to be on that man, Tyler Shough. On his 3rd school, transferred from Oregon to Texas Tech, and now here at Louisville in his 7th season of college football, sporting the number 9, the grad transfer out of Chandler, Arizona. We'll see if the 3rd time's the charm. Again, we mentioned the question has been for Tyler Shough, Rod, can this guy stay healthy? That has been the biggest thing. He has yet to finish a season in which he started. We know he's going to get out of tonight pretty healthy with the green jersey. But
well, Matt, you know, he's a big-time player with a big-time arm, NFL body, and I expect that you'll see him more as a pocket passer and not as much of a running quarterback as we've seen in other stops.
Broken his collarbone a couple of times, missed 9 games in 21, 6 games in 22, final 6 games last year with a broken leg, but he's healthy and ready to go. Maurice Turner is the tailback to Shough's right. Shough to the far sideline, and that is caught incomplete. And down the far sideline is Kris Bell. At the 20, at the 10, and how about that start to the spring game? 80 yards for the touchdown. Kris Bell, one of the leading returning receivers, leading the way down the far sideline, and that's the start to the Shough era. It's a pretty good one.
Well, Matt, one of the big things, big plays. Who are the playmakers? When you lose a receiver like Thrash, you start looking around who can replace that explosiveness. And right off the bat, Chris Bell delivers that.
Rock Travelstead with the point after. And 7-0 with the white team, otherwise known as the offense. Again, Tyler Shough, if you want to know, yeah, it looks like it's Shough, it's Shuck, as in all shucks, or Shuck the corn rod. We're here to teach.
Got to get it right. Hey, listen, this is a guy who's been around, but because of the injuries, people haven't seen him enough, and they mispronounce his name. They're going to get it right this year.
Coach was saying, yeah, he's feeling pretty good with the verbiage, the terminology. It's just about being able to learn his receivers, learn the skill players, and they've got to use those guys. You know, when you get to this year of your college career, year 7, you got one final go-around. He has come here with a purpose, according to his coaches, and saw a glimpse of that on that first play. Now leading the offense the other way. We got Donald Chaney in the backfield. Transfer from Miami. Gets the handoff. And if you'll notice, it's a thud type of game here, Rod Gilmore, as Pierce Clarkson is in at quarterback. Not typically going to see a lot of tackling here tonight, but this is one of the features of tonight that we're going to be focused on. We know Tyler Shough going to be the guy. He didn't come here to sit. But who is going to be the guy that is next in line? That's the big question.
Big question, because as we've talked about, Tyler Shough has had a little trouble staying healthy. So you have to assume he's not going to play every snap. So who's going to be that second guy?
Pierce Clarkson certainly came into Louisville with a lot of fanfare. Slant on the inside that is caught. And a minimal gain. It looked like Kataris Hicks on the catch.
Matt, I'm standing behind the huddle just watching the way Clarkson handles himself, handles the huddle, command, to see how he, that leadership when you're the backup quarterback trying to establish yourself is important.
Pretty accurate quarterback, the sophomore. 4-star prospect when he came out of high school. 3rd down and 6. Over the middle, and that's a nice grab over the middle. That's Antonio Meeks, transfer from Tuskegee, and the junior has the catch in the 1st down, gain of 8.
I like the way that Clarkson got back in his drop and then went first read on the right side. Did a nice job of that. A lot of confidence right now.
And it is red versus white. Defense can score as well. We'll run down that scoring system in just a little bit in this spring game format. Clarkson looking over the middle and just in and out of the hands of the aforementioned Meeks. We mentioned the scoring system. And again, tackling is at a minimum tonight, but defense can score. Touchdowns, of course, but forced turnover, it's 5. 3 and out, it's 3. A 4th down stop, you get 3 points for your team, and a defensive stop is 2 points. So
yeah,
a lot of opportunities here on both sides of the ball.
Eliminate the tackling, frustrate the defensive guys. That's it.
Clarkson with the far sideline. That is Donald Chaney. And again, with the recent departure of Penny Boone, who entered the portal, they were expecting him to come in and pay immediate dividends and add a lot of depth. Even without him, they still feel really good about this backfield, Ron.
It is a backfield that has a lot of talent. Maurice Turner is a returning guy. Chaney is a big back. I'm standing back here looking at him. 6'1", 220, 225. So he can be the big back that maybe they were hoping Boone would be. And then they've got some speed guys as well.
Chaney's in the backfield, out to the right. Now Clarkson over the middle. Has his man, and it's caught! Jaden King into the end zone for the touchdown! The redshirt freshman out of Indiana with a 62-yard catch for the score.
Well, Matt, I think we're seeing right off the bat the attempt to integrate more vertical throws in this offense than they had last year. Tremendous launch and catch. And early on, we've seen the drop back game more so than play action out of this offense.
Point after is good. Clark's at 4 of 5 for 78 yards on that drive. $14-0. The advantage. 12 minutes to go here in the first. A lot of scoring. Some thunder over Louisville tonight. Magic Rod Gilmore, red-white spring game here in Louisville. 14-0 Team White. Tyler Shough remains in at quarterback. Keywan Brown around the far side. And again, no tackling. We're just thudding tonight. That's Keywan Brown, the redshirt freshman out of Atlanta. 5 more games highlight our spring football schedule Saturday on ACC Network and ACC Network Extra. Wake Forest at 2 Eastern. ACC Network Extra, ACC Network's complimentary streaming platform, accessible through the ESPN app on your smartphone, tablet, connected streaming devices like your TV, or by going to ESPN.com/watch. Shough again inside to Chris Bell, who caught the first touchdown of the game.
Hey, Matt, this is an offense that last season really did a lot of the short passing attack. A lot of screen games, play action. We're seeing a little bit more of an attempt to get downfield in this game. What gets emphasized is what you get better at.
And that is something that Jeff Brom certainly wants to accentuate here with this offense. Run up the middle. It's again Keywan Brown. And you can see the frustration there with the defense, right?
Thank you.
Look, I mean, we want to tackle. We can't bring them down. You can't be giving them yards after contact when we're thudding.
Exactly. That's so frustrating.
Jaden Spearman with the tackle. We will call them tackles here tonight officially. The give to Brown.
You know, Matt, this offensive line group is a experienced group. A lot of transfers who've played an awful lot. Brom says it's the most depth he's ever had with an offensive line.
Shough to the far side, and that is complete. That's Colin Lacey. And transfer from South Alabama. And to your point,
if Brom has it.
Yeah, a lot of transfers.
Yeah. He says that he believes that that might be the strength of the offense, along with his quarterback, if Tyler Shough can stay healthy. And that's not a bad way to start if the strength of your team is your offensive line.
Yeah, he said today, look, you know, you want to play to your strengths. What are your strengths? And offensive line was one of the first 2 things off the tip of his tongue. That's a good thing to have here. Shough with the give and a nice tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Isaac Brown was the tailback. And Juriante Davis, the transfer from Texas A&M, his 6th season of college football, and he's a journeyman. He's been around, but they hope his final spot is a good one here.
Right, and Isaac Brown is the freshman running back. Don't expect to see him run inside an awful lot. He is a game breaker with great speed, perimeter guy, but he's got to run inside from time to time. But he is a guy who could make a difference in the backfield, catching the ball in space.
This is 4th down here. Inside their own 45, a chance for the defense to come up with a few points with a 4th down stop. Shough over the middle, and that's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Looked like Jaden Thompson there. And the turnover on downs, and 3 points for the defense on the 4th down stop.
That was Holloway, 20, making the play. This is a defense that was outstanding last season, Matt, in stopping the run. Had its moments defending the pass. But man, did they have a guy up front now.
Ashton Gelati. First team All ACC a season ago, second team All American as well. Rod, this is a guy that considered leaving for the NFL draft. He's back for one more go round, and they're anticipating big things from him.
11 sacks last season. A guy who's been unblockable according to the coaches this spring. He's going to get a lot of attention from offenses in the fall, and it's imperative that they find a way to have someone else step up and create pressure from other positions so that Gelati can do his thing.
He had 11 sacks last year, 9th most in a single season in program history. 14.5 tackles for loss. Harrison Bailey now in at quarterback. We talked about that battle for the backup. Kataris Hicks, the redshirt freshman, with the catch. And you know, Brom, when we asked him about the quarterbacks, he mentioned, look, right now Clarkson probably the number 2, but there are opportunities here tonight for guys like Harrison Bailey to open up some eyes.
Well, I think Clarkson certainly made a statement in his drive that he's up for the audition, and we'll see if Bailey and others can make some headway.
Next step for Harrison Bailey, just getting some of that consistency. They know he can throw it vertically. Isaac Brown, the freshman, is to his right. And with the green jersey, not going to go very far.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's Bailey's strength. 6'5", 230. He is a pocket passer, was a 4-star recruit. A transfer from UNLV. He is a guy that's going to show off his arm when he gets the chance.
Micah Carter was there on the stop. High-profile local talent, redshirt freshman out of Louisville. St. X has certainly gotten better during his time here. A 3rd down and 6 right now for the offense. Isaac Brown splits wide. Now back next to Bailey. The rush is on. Bailey in its face, and that one is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That's Jaleel Skinner, the transfer tight end from Miami, and that's a tight end group that they're very high on. Their best tight end might not even be on campus yet, Rod, but that's a grouping that they're very high on for the upcoming year.
Well, it is a group that they want to do more with, and Brom has always been a fan of having a tight end who can stretch the field and can make plays over the middle of the field, and they want to add that to the offense this year. We'll see if they can get that done. But that is a point of emphasis for him as well, is to find some production at that tight end spot.
Yeah, Jamari Johnson is a guy that they want to be a playmaker. Mark Redmond is at San Diego State finishing up his season, his academic calendar, and then will be here for the fall.
And then they have a bit of a project in Jaleel Skinner, 6'5", 225, Miami transfer. They're high on him as well.
3 and out there forced by the defense. And again, we're just working on the kicking game tonight, not the return game.
So Matt, what do we got in the way of scores now? What's the score of this game?
Well, we're showing 14-3. That was a defensive stop, so I'm thinking we add a couple of points to the defense there.
I felt like the defense got shorted there.
If it's a 3 and out, which we have it charted as that, then
they should get points for that.
That's 3 points. That's 3 points for the 3 and out. So it should be 14-6 at this juncture. 5.5 to go here in this first quarter. Matt Schick, Rod Gilmore. Again, it is essentially offense versus defense. The defense in red, the offense in white tonight. Defense is able to score. That'd be a little bit challenging, but forced turnover, you get 5, 3 and out, you get 3. 4th down stop, defensive stops, you get some points as well. And the offense just has traditional scoring.
I think one of the things that should be added for scoring for the defense is that anytime you're in the backfield, that should be a point. A tackle for loss, sack should be assumed when you're back there, especially since it's a thud and you can't really tackle.
Well, Tyler Shough has had quite an eventful spring, and the spring game is just a capper to a monumental couple of weeks. It was just about 10 days ago that he got married out in San Diego. See the picture there on his Instagram, and according to the Louisville staff, had to kind of reorganize practice a little bit. He exited for the weekend. It was a great weekend, according to Shough. Jess Livingston, the new Mrs. Shough, and that's a pretty good capper to what's been a momentous spring.
Matt, let's be
Shough.
clear. This was not a Love is Blind or Married at First Sight thing. This was truly planned, and what a setting for that wedding, huh?
La Jolla, California, out there right along the beaches. And now here at Louisville, back in at quarterback, Maurice Turner in at running back. Maurice Turner likely that #1 at this point, but a lot to be determined between now and the fall.
And Shough is 24, will be 25 in September.
Shough going to show off that arm again off his back foot. Nearly a turnover. That went through the hands of Devin Neal, a safety they're very high on out of Lexington, Kentucky, the senior, former Baylor transfer.
Yeah, good job of Devin Neal getting back there. But again, we are seeing the emphasis on the vertical passing attack. Yeah, the drop back game, and Shough showing off his arm, and that offensive line showing pass protection. This is a great addition if they can really incorporate the drop back game into the offense.
Shough with the pass off to the far side. That's Turner out of the backfield on a 2nd down and 10 play. Maurice Turner, 2nd year back, was a 3rd option last year behind Jordan and Garendo. Had a big game against Pittsburgh in that loss, 12 carries for more than 80 yards, and a guy they're certainly going to look to this year in that well-stocked running back room.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's realistic to expect to find one back to replace Jordan.
Shough steps up in the pocket, nearly picked off there as that was batted up into the air.
You know what I mean, Matt? We talk about the running back room and all the talented guys that they have, but sometimes you need difference makers offensively, the running back spot, wide receiver spot. And that's what Jordan was for them. They don't have that now, but to expect one guy to step in and do that might not be realistic. Maurice Turner will be the opening guy probably, but Chaney and others provide opportunities.
Defense showed some life after those first couple of drives, making the offense work for it now. Spring game continues. Welcome back to the spring game, Lamar Jackson way. As Louisville has learned, you don't just replace Lamar Jackson, but you do remember him. How about the speed limit, the 8 miles an hour speed limit? We've been told some people just run off and take those signs. They don't speed, they just run out of there quickly when they take them. So we're thankful that we could get shots of those today.
Pretty lucky.
Brady Allen now in at quarterback. Kewan Brown in the backfield. How about some of that Brown trickeration? Back to Allen on the far side, sporting the green jersey, past midfield. And he is touched around the 40-yard line. Corey Thornton, Tayon Holloway, excuse me.
We got
number
a flag.
20, the redshirt sophomore. We do have a flag, and I wonder if we had a couple of forward passes. What do we have there, Rupp?
Of course. Oh, hands to the face? I think we had hands to the face. I don't think it was a forward pass. At least that's the signal, the indication.
The gain of 35
Brady Allen's
yards.
a transfer from Purdue, worked with Jeff Brom over there, and is trying to get into that battle for the number 2 quarterback spot.
The official saw something there in the backfield, so that long gain is negated, and now a 1st down and 20 as the defense trails by 7. Brady Allen, former transfer from Purdue, still in at quarterback. Donald Chaney, the Miami transfer. with the game.
Hey, Matt.
Geronte Davis with the tackle. Yes.
One of the cool things about Brady Allen, his uncle, Sean Fuller, is a drummer for the country band Florida Georgia Line.
A band that I know you listen to on your mixtape when you're riding to work.
I got it on my playlist.
Allen over the middle. That's a nice pass and caught. Whistle still not blown. And now finally is, as that is hauled in by Kris Hughes, the redshirt freshman out of Morganfield. And think about these receivers here. Look, last season is Jamari Thrash, and when we asked Brian Braum, who is the next Jamari Thrash? Who's going to replace him? He responded with, that's a really good question. They're looking for that, Rod. You don't know if it's going to be one guy. Could be a handful of guys, but they need an alpha to step up.
You need an elite receiver, a guy that puts the fear in a secondary. And they're trying to find out who that guy is. I'm not sure that guy's here right now.
Handoff, a nice tackle at the line of scrimmage. A lot of red jerseys corralling there at the line. Trent Carter, the freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida, very high on that youngster. No gain there, brings up a 4th down.
Yeah, we've talked about Chris Bell at wide receiver. Lacey, number 7, is another guy that may emerge a bit. And Ja'Cory Brooks is probably the most interesting guy, the transfer from Alabama, who's been banged up and hasn't been able to play. He might be a guy that could give them what they're looking for.
Yeah, Brooks has been dealing with labrum surgery, and they hope believe he's healed up, and no team or contact stuff. They say, look, Brooks looks great. They say Brooks looks great. We just haven't been able to see him in action yet, but this summer and into the fall, they'll get a glimpse, as you saw a glimpse of Brady Allen and his wheels on the near side.
Well, and the other thing, Matt, we've talked about college football 2024 and how rosters are always sort of in flux now with the transfer portal opening earlier this week. There may be a receiver who's looking at Louisville. They may find someone. They're constantly looking. Every program now is constantly evaluating who is considering the transfer portal, who's in it, and who might fit their style.
So it looked like Allen was ruled short, and Jeff Braum was not thrilled. He's saying, look, what are we talking about here? He got the first down. That play that we designed worked for the first down. Let's move it.
I'm not sure Jeff Braum ever turns off the intensity. We've spent some time talking to his brother, Brian Braum, the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. And he says he's always been that intense, and Brian's not so much.
Spring game or not, Jeff Braum in mid-season form, having some fun at the red-white game, some high-flying action, showing off the deep ball, a new look, and a preview of 2024. The man behind the tinted glass, Brian Braum, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, former Louisville quarterback 20 years ago. And, Jeff and the older brother Greg as well, who's the chief of staff here, it certainly is a family affair. That one is tipped back to Brady Allen, who throws that one out of bounds. Some trickeration from Coach Braum up in the booth and Braum on the sideline. Really enjoyed our conversation with him, and he said, look, I'm the good cop, Jeff's the bad cop. We kind of put words in his mouth to that effect, but he's like, look, I'm pretty laid back with the players. When Jeff gets after him on the sideline, I pick up the phone and say, hey, this is what he meant to say. This is what he was talking about.
Well, I had totally forgotten the dynamic that exists between them, that Brian is 15 years or so younger than Jeff, and that relationship is more like uncle than brother to brother.
A nice rush there on the play. You would think that should be ruled as a sack there from the defensive front. That's what the defensive lineman is hoping for. That was MJ Campbell. As we look at the comparison between Jeff and Braum, and Rod, you asked Brian, how much do you lord it over Jeff for your numbers?
Yeah, there was no hesitation that he was the better quarterback. and he reminds his brother, listen, we remember when Brian took over at Louisville as a freshman quarterback. He was it. He was the big thing entering college football throughout the state of Kentucky and had a tremendous career here.
Yeah, so the numbers speak for themselves. They certainly do. It's 3rd down and 10. Isaac Brown in the backfield. It's Brady Allen at quarterback. Finds his man. And that is complete.
Now, Matt, I'm standing behind the defense, just observing how quickly this team can adjust to tempo and get lined up, whether there's any confusion. And so far, defense is doing a pretty good job.
That was Kris Hughes. Second time we've called his name today. Allen, little back shoulder throw, but how about maybe a little offensive pass interference? That's JoJo Stone, the freshman out of Georgia, gain at 26, but some yellow laundry here. Too much of an advantage here, Rob.
Rarely gets called, gets flagged this time. Good job. You know, I'm really curious about watching the defense and how they respond with the, helmet communication we have now. A quarterback is in communication with a coach, and a linebacker for the defense gets that privilege. And that helps, I think, if you're a defensive player and you can watch the formation and see where the tight end and running backs are, that can give you a little bit of a head start, a little insight into tendencies. And when you are looking to the sideline for signals, you miss all that information.
The helmet communication going to be really interesting to track and how that impacts the game coming up as Isaac Brown scrambles through the hole for a couple of yards. 14-9, the offense with the lead. Again, the red team comprised of all defensive players, and they can score some points as they have for forcing a 3 and out and a 4th down stop as well. Second down and 10. Isaac Brown still in the backfield. Allen rolling to the far side. Defense giving chase. They can't touch it.
Yeah, I don't think you should allow quarterbacks to run when you can't tackle. And there's a flag anyway. But it's been quite the week for Jeff Brom, Matt. We watched him get around today, and we know that earlier this week he was at the Louisville baseball game. In fact, throughout the first pitch.
Yeah, I called that college baseball game the other night when Louisville faced Kentucky. It was such a long game, it just wrapped up moments ago. Louisville came up on the short end of that one, and Louisville's trying to turn the tide in that rivalry here as well. They've lost 5 straight to Kentucky, and that was the start of a 3-game skid last year. Stanquan Brown in the backfield. Allen over the middle. That's caught past midfield on a 2nd down and long. And that is Isaiah Cummings, the tight end, with the catch. Again, Women's Lacrosse Championship coming up Sunday right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. First round of it coverage begins at noon Eastern. 3rd down and 22 after a bevy of penalties as Allen looks to the sideline. Brown in the backfield. 3rd down and long. Allen looking. And good defensive coverage there. A couple of red jerseys in pursuit on that pass to Brown. Tayon Holloway was there. Jeriante Davis, that Texas A&M transfer we talked about earlier, there in coverage as well.
Matt, we tend to see a lot of vanilla defenses in spring games. Not a whole lot of blitzing. A lot of simple zone coverage here. Chance to just let guys see plays and make plays. But I also think that that's a long-term thing for Louisville defensively. You get more picks, more interceptions when your defensive backs have eyes on the quarterback, eyes on the ball. And I think that's something they're going to try and do a little bit more of this season to see if they can make some plays and take some balls away.
And this is a
from time to time.
defense that, since the start of the 2022 season, they've led the ACC in takeaways. Also top 3 in the FBS. So this is a ball hawking defense. They got a lot of talent on that back end. We'll talk more about that as the broadcast progresses. But again,
Ron English does a great job with this defense.
50 turnovers, 3rd most in the FBS in that span. Shough in at quarterback, gives the give. That is Donald Chaney, the Miami transfer. TJ Quinn there led the team in tackles a season ago. Folks broadcasting Louisville regular season games upcoming will call his name a lot.
Matt, you mentioned Quinn. Let's take a look at that linebacking group for Louisville.
And off to Chaney. It's a linebacking group that they're certainly expecting a lot from. Quinn is going to be the headliner. Davis is the transfer. We just lost Jalen Alderman in the transfer portal. He was a potential starting linebacker, 4th on the team in tackles a season ago, at a pick 6 in that UCF game back in 2021. So this is a unit that suffered a surprising loss, but they feel like they have enough depth there to account for it.
I would say that is probably the question mark on this defense when they go from having 2 starters return with Quinn and Alderman just to Quinn, and now trying to build some depth and find another starter. If you pick one area of this defense and say that's the one that you have questions about, it is the linebacking group.
Handoff up the middle. Nice hole, nice gain before he studded up near the 40-yard line. Gain of about 11. Corey Thornton, the UCF transfer, was there. But it is good for a first down for the offense.
It's not that there isn't talent in that linebacking group. They're just guys that haven't played. You haven't seen them do it, and you don't know if they can be every down players for you yet.
Shough up top, has a man there. It's caught and a touchdown. Chris Bell, his 2nd of the spring game.
Perfectly thrown ball, Matt. Once again, the deep ball, drop back, and Bell did a tremendous job off the line of scrimmage of avoiding the press coverage. He beats his man off the line of scrimmage and gives the quarterback lots of room to drop it in there. But that was made. Now check out the pocket. Drop back, perfect protection, balls out quickly, and a really nice route by Bell.
80 yards on the first touchdown, a 45-yarder on this one. Reindeer puts that one through, and White extends the lead.
I think Bell is trying to make an argument that he is that elite guy that can step in and be the #1 receiver.
Chris Bell could be that man. We know Tyler Shough is the man at quarterback in 2024.
For the winner.
Matt Schick, Rod Gilmore, Louisville Spring Game. The offense with a 21-11 lead on the defense. You see Chris Bell. Couple of touchdown receptions. The first one went for 80 yards. The last one went for 45. And a guy that they hope could emerge as that #1 receiver. Clarkson is hit from behind the line of scrimmage. And that is Des Tell making his impact being felt. But from Tell back to Bell, you think he could be that #1, Rod Gilmore?
Well, he is showing some of that. Now, listen, he's a big receiver, 6'2", 220, and he is a lot faster than I think most people believe. Ran 200 meters in about 22.5. So he is a guy, a bit of a long strider, but he has the ability to be a game breaker.
Clarkson over to the near side. That is tipped away. And that defensive secondary is something that you are going to have to watch all season long as we look at Tayon Holloway there, the redshirt sophomore out of Virginia Beach with the PBU.
We talk about Bell and what impact he's had tonight. It is going to take more than just Bell in this receiving group. You know, they play a lot of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, and the slot position is important, that they have to get production out of the slot position.
Colin Lacey's South Alabama transfer is a guy brought in to kind of fill that slot need. Here's Clarkson over the middle. Taurus Hicks slung to the ground. Quincy Riley is there yet again. And stopped short of the line to gain. It will be 4th down. We'll see what the offense decides to do.
Well, Bailey is back in at quarterback. Trying to stand behind the offense to see what they do on this 4th down and how the communication goes.
There's a timeout on the field. 6.5 minutes to go here in this first half. And that defensive stop is worth a couple of points for the defense.
I feel like the grading system, the point system, has been a little bit hard on the defense today.
Well, they're essentially saying, look, we were going to punt, you got the stop, and so now we're starting it again. Here's the new drive. First down and 10 at the 30. You mentioned Harrison Bailey in at quarterback for the offense. Maurice Turner, the setback, and 4 receivers in the formation for Louisville. Turner, the near side, cuts back in, not before he's tagged up there by Team Red, gain of 5.
Turner is a lot quicker than you think. Changes direction really well. 5'10", 190. Really good perimeter runner. Strong enough to run it inside sometimes. I think he's really going to be effective also in the passing attack, catching the ball out of the backfield.
Second down and 6. Turner, shifty, stopped a little bit past the line of scrimmage.
Hey, Matt, I know we talked about this offensive line earlier, but standing back here looking at these bookend tackles, oh man, they're huge. NFL offensive tackles with this offensive line.
That's some big boys there. Pete Niagara is a 300-pound offensive transfer. Guys like Michael Gonzalez out of Indian Trail, North Carolina's a 300-pounder. They've got some big boys and a handful of transfers to help supplement. Pass into the flat, and that is wrapped up immediately. That
Points,
is big
right?
Number 97, Maurice Davis with the stop. That's the freshman out of Georgia.
Points for the defense.
Is that a 3 and out? We think so. And a couple of more points for the defense. Four and a half minutes to go here in this first half. Lamar Jackson, his fingerprints all over this program, both outside the building and inside the stadium. The legacy lives on here in the Ville. Pretty good crowd on hand here tonight at Louisville, a couple of weeks away from the Kentucky Derby. Thunder over Louisville tomorrow night, biggest fireworks show annually held in these continental United States, and they are getting set for that tomorrow night and hoping for some more offensive fireworks tonight.
Fireworks and a mint julep.
Go hand in hand. 21-15, Tyler Shough back in at quarterback. Isaac Brown, the freshman running back. Shough already with a couple of touchdowns tonight to Chris Bell. That one to the far side. Colin Lacey with the catch. That is the South Alabama transfer, a guy who just getting started. They want to see what he can do, but again, there's always that learning curve for those transfer receivers.
That ball comes out of Tyler Shough's hand really nicely. He can spin it.
Hand off, nice hole, good gain, Isaac Brown. Isaac Brown, a guy who's got some of that shiftiness, some speed, some quickness. Talking to the coaches, said has an element of that Jawar Jordan had, just that speed. He's got that. He's a track star in high school, and a guy that, you know, who knows, might be hard to keep off the field, but has that electricity in him.
Has already earned the nickname Mosquito. Buzzing around.
Hard to catch, can be a pest to the defense.
Stings the defense.
Yeah. Shough. Boy, you're right about the way that ball comes out of that right arm.
Oh, boy.
That one to the far side, Taurus Hicks.
That was a throw.
27 yards. I think the phrase arm talent applies here tonight.
Oh, man. I was standing behind Tyler Shough when he let that one go. And it was a beautiful throw right on the money.
Brown showing the shiftiness again. What is it about Shough and the way that ball comes out, Rod?
Yeah, you know, I can only imagine what he would have done in his 6-year career already had he been able to stay healthy, because he can really spin it.
Look at those career numbers again. Missed 9 games in 2021, 6 games in 2022, 6 games in 2023 as Brown to the near side, and he is roped down. There is a flag on the play. That was Antonio Watts, the junior out of Georgia, and a penalty coming up here on the offense. But the interesting thing about Shough, back to the quarterback conversation, is that, you know, you hear that term injury prone, where you can manage a guy based on how you run your offense. And the way Jeff Brom put it is, look, they ran him a lot in his previous stops, specifically at Oregon, and that's not, and Texas Tech. That's not something that we want to do a lot, Rod.
That's right.
And you would think that's going to keep him upright.
I think that's right. I mean, that was the approach at Oregon. They've always had that approach with running their quarterbacks. There was a bit more of it at Texas Tech than I think he expected, and he got beat up. There's no question about it. But that should not happen here. This is a pro-style offense.
That throw, though, as we call that the announcer's jinx, that is picked off. That is Quincy Riley. Folks, that is a name to watch. I know the NFL draft is coming up next week, but next year, this is another name.
What a surprise that Riley makes the play. Now, we talk about a guy who is high on the radar, as you mentioned, for next year's draft, has added 10 to 12 pounds of muscle to get up to 190 plus pounds, 195-ish or so, to look more the build, the stature of a first or second round pick. There's no question about his ability to play the ball in the air, his instincts, his willingness to tackle, his ability to change direction in man-to-man coverage. He is a guy that anchors the corner spot back there, and as we talked about, they've got some other guys that give them a lot of depth at the cornerback position.
Yeah, Riley played a team-high 504 snaps a season ago, so you think that depth could allow him to maximize and be a little more efficient. Look at that pick by Riley and a great read for Riley Island. Forced turnover, that's 5 points. Defense out in front now, 23 to 21.
You don't want a guy like Riley to wear down near the end of the season because you don't have enough depth to give him breaks during the season.
He mentioned in a recent interview, maybe instead of 80 snaps, it's, you know, you take a few snaps of those away, and he's able to maximize and play 100% more often, as you see Kewan Brown with the carry. Coming up at the half, we'll talk about what's new coming up in the ACC in 2024, and the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. A lot of new faces in this conference, and new teams as well, as Few programs entered the portal and conference
in a new format.
Yep, in a new format for the college football playoff.
12-team playoff in 2024.
About a minute to go here in this first half as Brady Allen looks to the sideline. See Tyler Shough with a couple of touchdown passes. Pierce Clarkson with a touchdown pass as well. 3rd down and 1. Red team defense looking to add to their lead, and they might just have done it.
We finally got the scoring right here.
Deion Holloway in coverage. Intended for JoJo Stone, a guy who flashed early in his senior season and in high school. And less than 30 seconds to go here. Looking forward to the second half. Talk to a player or two as well if they're done playing in the spring game. Forward to some conversations. Running clock in the second half as well, as that give is to Brown. First down with a few seconds to go. Allen. Whistle is blown on the catch from Brown, and that will do it for the first half of this spring game. The defense always ahead in the spring, right? A little bit ahead of the offense, or a little ahead of this one. 23-21. Halftime coming up. Talk about the season to come here in the ACC. Back here at Louisville, a real cool tradition that Greg Brom is leading. He's the chief of staff for Louisville. Said we used to do this all the time. We would honor the seniors from last year and present them with their framed jersey. That's what they're doing tonight, honoring the 2023 seniors. Really cool thing to do, saying, look, you're always going to be a part of the Louisville family.
I love these types of events. It's great to acknowledge the seniors and to give them a gift like this with the framed jersey so that they can take it home and lay that up, hang that up against the wall. I think that's fantastic. A great tradition.
Even though your career might be over, the impact has certainly not been forgotten, and the legacy lives on. A 2-point lead here for the defense here on the offense. And ACC storylines, again, new coaches, new faces and programs. Florida State trying to defend their title. Could be really interesting year in the ACC.
I think the Bill O'Brien hire is very interesting because of the narrative out there that a lot of coaches were heading to the NFL and that the college game was not as attractive. I think this belies that. Now you have Bill O'Brien leaving the NFL, coming back to college to the ACC. I think that's a significant statement when you think about that. And you're right, a lot of new faces in the ACC, whether you're talking about quarterbacks or programs as well.
Yeah, programs, we mentioned that. You got SMU coming in, Stanford, as you know, coming in, Cal coming in. What kind of impact will they have here on this league?
Well, it's going to be fun to watch and see how that plays out, because if you look at it from the perspective of the new teams coming in, they have to deal with new travel situations, new rivalries, a new conference that they're unfamiliar with, and adapt to that. What excites me is for fans who now get to see a different part of the country. And if you are an ACC loyalist for the years now, maybe you make a trip to SMU. Maybe you make a trip to the Bay Area and you get to experience that. Something a little different. I think that's the exciting part of it. How quickly they will challenge for the ACC title, I don't see that right off the bat, because I think there's going to be a period of adjustment for SMU, for Stanford, and for Cal.
Coach Wilcox, Coach Lashley, Coach Taylor entering the foray here in these notable ACC games this season. Florida State trying to build off of a remarkable year last year. You know, they've got some extra motivation after what happened to them with the college football playoff. Get to see Stanford there on August 30th in a little Big 12 ACC matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And obviously, you know, Cal, Florida State, also a new kind of thing we'll see. And that Clemson-Georgia game could have some very significant implications when you think about the postseason.
When you think about that postseason, And look, Jeff Brom, we talked about it with him. There are realistic goals for programs like Louisville, where think about last year. If the 12-teamer was last year, they're on the cusp of the playoff.
It is a whole new world and a lot more competitive. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Second half still to come. 2 more minutes at halftime. Defense with a 2-point lead here on the offense as the halftime ceremonies continue. Oh, it's a great ceremony. Seniors from last year being presented with their framed jersey. Jamari Thrash being presented by, they're all presented by former Louisville Cardinals. How about Deion Branch presenting Thrash's jersey?
Deion Branch, how about that? From one star to another. Pretty impressive.
Deion Branch, now part of this Louisville program. We ran into him today. He welcomed us with open arms. Director of Player Personnel and Alumni Relations. 23-21, red team, the defense up on the offense. And look, it is a new era in college football. We look back in December, roughly 1,000 more players entering the portal this past December than previous. This recruiting cycle, or this transfer portal cycle, we've had a few hundred FBS players enter it, but it's a new era in college football where you're almost supplementing your transfers with high school recruits.
I think one of the things that has happened is that we're now seeing staffs and players fully embrace the portal. You look at that increase in numbers, and this is not a function of simply players saying, hey, I want to move. You're now seeing coaches also saying, hey, we need to encourage you to move on because we can find better players and supplement our roster. So there's a lot more of that. And I think it's a brand new day. It's great to see player empowerment, but we're in a transition period. And for coaches everywhere, they're not certain about their rosters. And as they come out of spring, who still remains there? There was a time when it was only the guys buried on the depth chart that you worried about leaving. That's no longer the case. Now, if there are other opportunities, players who may be, in fact, starters may be enticed to leave. We've seen that in Louisville this week. A couple of guys who were expected to be contributors and starters moved on this week. And that is just the nature of college football today. It's happening everywhere. Yeah, it's a brand new day.
And I want to get to that, too, because I'm sure there are Louisville fans, when they see a Penny Boone or they see an Alderman, oh, my goodness, what's happening? What's happening is what's happening everywhere. There's not necessarily a reason to panic. There's going to be natural attrition. In fact, they entered the spring with more than 90 scholarship players anyway. That's not to diminish those departures, but at the same time, those things happen.
Well, and I think the other thing that fans need to recognize is that programs are constantly looking and monitoring the portal as well, trying to make sure they are prepared to fill those holes when they have a loss, when they have an opening. So it is a brand new day, and I think staffs and players are embracing the opportunities presented by the portal. And until there is some certainty, and that may be a few years down the line, until there's some certainty about this, we're going to be in this transitional period where there's a lot of change in rosters for a while.
A lot of change in these rosters. Look at these notable transfer quarterbacks in the ACC entering this upcoming season. Their former school. How about Malik Murphy to Duke? We've got Shough tonight. Uyunglele on his third school.
There may not be a conference with a better group of quarterbacks than the ACC when you look at this. Cam Ward comes over. DJ Uyunglele is here now. Tyler Shough. You're talking about guys who have NFL potential. You've immediately upgraded the quarterback class in the ACC in one offseason.
And that guy is one of the reasons why to be excited about this ACC season and the crop of quarterbacks. Tyler Shough, transfer from Oregon to Texas Tech and now to Louisville. 25 years old, newly married and newly minted essentially as the starting quarterback for Texas Tech, who had 2 first-half touchdown passes.
Well, we saw the arm strength, the arm talent. We saw the touch on the deep ball, and we saw what he brings to this offense, that drop-back game and that ability to put the fear of God in a secondary because he can really sling it.
The arm talent is there, and the deep ball is ever present, something that Louisville fans have been waiting for, and I'm sure Jeff Brom is excited to have an extra tool in the tool chest. We'll see some more of it coming up. Second half offense in comeback mode next.
Remember how coaches always got excited and thrilled when they found a football player who was a wrestler?
That's right.
We're starting to see lacrosse have that kind of impact, you know, and not just in football. I noticed that the Golden State Warriors have a former lacrosse player on their roster, a basketball player in the NBA now. I mean, lacrosse is becoming the thing across the board.
It is certainly a growing sport, and one that provides some cross-training as well. Start of the second half. We will have a running clock in the second half as we get things going. Again, the sooner you get through this game without injuries, the better.
Exactly. Get out of it healthy and see if you can find some big plays, confirm some things. I was struck in the first half by the emphasis on the vertical ball, and I was struck by how they really showcased Chris Bell. And it was almost as if it was an attempt to the extra confidence. You are the guy, Chris. Go show it and prove it. And he is kind of showing he might be the #1 receiver that they desperately want and need.
And remember, Ja'Cory Brooks, transfer from Alabama, is not healthy, not playing in this game here tonight as he recovers from some off-season surgery. So he will be one to look for in the fall as well.
Let me ask you this. We started tonight talking about how important the backup quarterback position is, and this being an audition tonight. By my count so far, Clarkson, number 10 you see right there, has looked the part as the lead guy in that audition right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Something that the coaches seem to affirm in our meetings as he throws that one out to the far side. That is complete. Kataris Hicks with the catch.
Well, he made a big, deep throw in the first half, showed his ability to get the ball out quick when that's required, and he's kept his composure, has not felt like or acted like a quarterback under duress when protection broke down. I think he's played really well.
Remember Clarkson when he came in, really helped keep that 2023 recruiting class together. Had that Flyville branding as well. But just one of 2 passes last year for 7 yards. Like they're just waiting for him to come through and see if he gets some time this year. They're hoping he doesn't get a lot of time this year with Tyler Shough being the guy, but you just never know, and you need a second option.
Well, with Tyler Shough's history, you have to assume that you need a guy who can take some reps and help you out in case Tyler Shough gets nicked up a little bit.
Tyler Shough, see how many more throws he gets tonight. Maurice Turner, the backfield. Clarkson scrambling under duress, has to throw that one away and throws it to his intended receiver.
That should be a win for the defense.
It should certainly be. That's to Maurice Turner in the flat, loss of 3.
Yeah, again, we talk about Tyler Shough and his importance to this offense and having a backup. And I think every program is going to have to think about making sure that their backup quarterback gets enough reps. I mean, we certainly saw what happened to Florida State last season when they lost their star quarterback. And you just have to get your backup in the game and get him enough reps so that the fall off isn't so dramatic if that should happen.
Isaiah Cummings with the catch. That is Stanquan Clark on the stop as we think about this defense with Jalen Alderman leaving. Stanquan Clark, an opportunity for him to step in at linebacker. And a guy at the mic that they hope can step up this upcoming season.
Well, he's going to get every opportunity. Trent Clark, a freshman, will also get an opportunity. They have to build depth at that linebacking spot.
Clarkson got him down the seam. Antonio Meeks, gain of 23 for the junior, the transfer from Tuskegee.
Well thrown ball. That's Clarkson just squeezing it in, putting it in a place where Meeks could get it. I tell you, he's thrown with a lot of touch and a lot of confidence tonight. He's 4 of 4 on this drive.
Clarkson, the delayed give there to Turner. Up there for a minimal gain. Aaron Williams was there on the stop, as was R.J. Sorensen.
You know, Turner looks to me like an every down back.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like the guy that, you know, you can throw it to out of the backfield. He's not afraid to run inside. He's already a really good perimeter runner. I think he's the guy that will get the majority of the reps, but they've got others. Donald Chaney is the big back who can get in there, and they've got some speed guys. But to me, Turner looks like the every down back.
Remember, Duke Watson's coming in, 3-star prospect
right.
out of Georgia. He's coming in over the summer. Going to be a well-stocked room. Clarkson, that one just out of the reach. The intended receiver, Katoris Hicks.
You see, trying to get off the press coverage, Aaron Williams, number 4. A long, tall corner, did a nice job of rerouting the receiver. Hicks that time, disrupting the timing on that. Those cornerbacks who have long arms have a real advantage.
Under duress, and that play is going nowhere. That defensive front causing some havoc. Des Tell, oh, do tell, there for this defensive front along with Maurice Davis.
Isn't that a sack? Isn't that points for the defense, right?
Yes, it will be.
And this is right off the edge and unblocked. I mean, that's when you'll take, that's a gimme.
A lot of depth on that defensive front. They got a half dozen guys that are a little banged up, but Tell is there. Tyler Barron is a guy from Tennessee who's not practicing. He's still out, but he'll be an impact guy next year. 52-yard field goal attempt for Travelstad is no good. Travelstad, who had the 4th most field goals in a season in program history, was 17 a year ago. And a career-long 53-yarder last year against NC State. No good from 52.
That's a stop for the defense then. Yeah, 3 points defense.
You're salivating at these defensive points.
Hey, it's because you do these spring games. It's so hard for the defense to win and get points. I mean, you gotta make sure you get every one of those opportunities, you know, acknowledged.
(26-21). Red team with the lead again. Reminder, spring games, we've only just begun. Wake Forest coming up on Saturday, ACC Network. The rest of them also on ACC Network Extra. We got Virginia, Florida State, Duke, Syracuse. Busy day coming up this weekend. And it has been a busy day for Jeff Brom. The many faces of Jeff Brom. He's smiling. He's got the West. It's like, what are we doing? Okay. So come on. He's arguing with the official. I mean, he's in mid-season form. There's no question about it. As they hand off here, joined now at the set, Deion Branch, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion, Director of Player Development and Alumni Relations. We saw you present a jersey to Jamari Thrash. That was a really cool moment.
Yeah, great, man. I'm thrilled, man. Thrilled to do it. A great feeling, man. I'm feeling all the spots. That's my role, man. I feel all the holes.
You've been an interim coach. I mean, you've done everything here.
Did it all. I'm pretty sure Coach will call me out on the field soon, too. So I got a couple routes in me. I got a couple routes left in me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know you have a heavy focus on the receiver group and everything going out there. We come out here and, you know, Jeff Brom tells us early on, hey, he wants to see some production. He wants to see it number 1. And all of a sudden, Chris Bell just jumps out making plays. Tell us, what did you see, what did you think?
Yeah, that's been the norm for Chris. He's a young guy. I think this is no surprise what they're seeing. Clearly not myself. My guy Pete Nocta was one of the guys who's been on Kris for the longest, and finally I guess he's emerging in their eyes, but he's always been that. So my man Pete Nocta, I'm gonna give him his flowers right now. Pete was the guy who was always just like Kris Bell. But I think what we're seeing is what Kris is, this product of what he's been doing in practice. This is every day for Kris.
Bailey over the middle, that one's incomplete. Give us a sense, as we have a flag on the play, going into year 2 under Jeff Brom, what do you anticipate and what have you seen here from this team in the spring?
Yeah, I think what we'll see now is probably a more polished offense and a defensive unit, special teams as well. You're still seeing the influx of all these guys in and out of these different programs, transfer portal. But I think the foundation of this team is still here. We're somewhat still intact. I think it's been a lot of plug and play for the most part. Lose a receiver or two here and there. We bring in Ja'Cory. You know, we lose a DB, we bring a guy. We lose Jarvis to the draft, and we bring in Corey Thornton. You know, we got a couple D linemen that we lost, and then we're bringing in some more D linemen. It's more so now. This is a new era.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because different from when you played, right? I mean, you could build a roster, build a team, build that camaraderie. How challenging is this to maintain even momentum off a 10-win season?
It's very challenging, and I think every head coach can attest to it. I think the bottom line now is just having the right pieces in play, in which I think we have it, having the right coaches on your staff, and I'm gonna give myself a little flowers myself. Having guys such as myself, former players around the program, I think is imperative that most of these organizations, most of these institutions do moving forward. But I think these young men, they know what it is now. These guys are collecting funds now. NIL is there. You got to be careful what you're saying. So with the NIL game going now, I think I always tell my young guys on the team, man, you guys are professional athletes right now in college.
That's a lot, though, for guys. Now, let me ask you this on that point. You've been through all this. You've been in the pros. You've had, agents and people in your ear and talking to you and whatnot. Do they listen to you, or do you share with them what that reality is like for them now in this new era?
Oh, yeah. Trust me. We have some very intimate conversations all the time. I have my player-only meetings, with the coaches. With the players. I have my individual meetings with these guys. For the ones who I feel that are actually being tested sometime, but also not knowing. They don't know what they don't know.
Right.
You follow me? So the biggest thing with these guys is trusting the process. That's the most important piece I always preach to these young men. And for the most part, they've been pretty solid. They're pretty grounded. But it's hard, though. It's hard, man, with the revolving door. There's so many moving parts. Money moves everything.
Money and opportunities.
There you go, man. Listen, somebody offer you this, they more likely will probably take it. But if they feel like the system in play for them, if it's structured, then I think they'll be fine.
Thanks for doing this. It's good to see you.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Deion Branch, one of the best, and back here at Louisville. Spring game continues. And check Rod Gilmore. Some images of what we've seen here tonight. Again, hope springs eternal. It gives a little glimpse into the future. And if that's the case, if you're a Louisville fan, you like what you've seen tonight. You know what the defense is going to give you. There's a lot returning. It's that offense. What will they do post-Jamari Thrash? And what can Tyler Shough bring them at the quarterback position?
Yeah, the question I had coming into tonight was the big play. Could they find the big play, not only with Tyler Shough, but on the outside, and could they get that out of the backfield? And Tyler Shough has delivered the deep ball. Chris Bell delivered explosive plays as a wide receiver. And so I think there's a real commitment by Jeff Brom to have a more vertical passing attack this fall. So, hey, if you're a fan and you're wondering about that 10-win season and if this team can contend, that is the expectation by this staff this season.
Touchdown passes tonight of 80 yards, 62 yards, and 45 yards. And always some trickeration with Jeff Brom. It's Kris Hughes around the far side, crosses midfield, and that's a gain of 24 yards. Kris Hughes, the redshirt freshman, with a little gadget.
It's at least our third trickeration for the evening. Kris Hughes, the redshirt freshman out of Kentucky. Got the chance to carry at that time.
(31-21) the defense. The offense in catch-up mode here with 3 minutes to go here in this running clock in the third quarter. Isaac Brown with the give, nowhere to run.
This is Travis Egan, quarterback, the redshirt freshman. 6'2", 205. Chance to insert himself in the mix. Is that right? No, Brady Allen's in. I thought Egan. That's 12, not 17.
Like a 7, it is a 2. Brady Allen, the former Purdue Boilermaker, followed Jeff Brom here to Louisville, and Allen on the far sideline.
I feel like Allen's gotten more reps tonight than maybe we expected coming in. And he's been the guy in after Clarkson and Bailey. And most of the night, we've seen him trickeration, we've seen him scramble, we've seen him make some plays with his feet. Now a chance for him to make some throws.
That was green jersey to green jersey. Sam Young on the near side, whose grandfather was an All-American football player at Louisville, was trying to make that catch. Walk on out of Kentucky. If you're wearing a green jersey as a receiver, can they touch you at all?
I don't think that should be allowed. You can't run routes in a green jersey.
Allen over the middle.
Allen throws complete down to the 40-yard line.
Talking about his grandfather, that's Isaiah Cummings. Some other greats that have played here as well. It's awesome just to see. We just talked to Deion Branch.
Tom Jackson.
Johnny Unitas, whose name is all over this building as well.
I have a love-hate thing with Tom Jackson.
Yeah, tell us.
That's just that, he played for the Denver Broncos, and I grew up rooting for the Oakland Raiders. And he used to beat the smack out of the Raiders over and over. Loved Tom, but hated him when he was with the Broncos.
Can't hate your colleague, He's Tom Jackson, one of the best. Allen over the middle. That's a nice throw.
Well thrown ball.
On that slant there. That's Hughes again, whose name we've called a half dozen times. Gain of 10. That's a first down.
Timing was perfect on that for Brady Allen. I mean, watch this. Gets back. Quick release. Right on the numbers. It is so hard to keep your quarterback room intact these days.
Allen under duress has to throw that one away.
I think one of the things that really helps Jeff Brom is that he knows Brady Allen, has been around him for a long time, had him at Purdue. Has to feel comfortable that he's got a guy who knows his system, his offense, his approach, can help coach the other quarterbacks.
That's the end of the third. One more quarter to go. The offense hoping to avoid the defense having bragging rights in the offseason. It'll be a long summer upcoming. A couple of weeks from the Derby. The young kids hanging out and watching the 2024 glimpse of this Louisville Cardinals team. The young kids watching the old man, Tyler Shough, the aged veteran, 25 years old, the grizzled vet, 7th year of college football. A couple of touchdown passes there in that first half. What did you make of your performance and what you got to do tonight?
I thought it was a lot of fun. We had guys making plays all over the field. Just a little taste of what we can do and, spread the ball around, run it really good. So really proud of how we started.
How much of an emphasis is on stretching the field, getting that deep ball going?
I think it's a huge emphasis. I think we have the ability to do a lot of things, and I think that's what makes our offense really good. And to get in different personnels and packages and try and take shots. And, I think that we're really good at that, and we got to keep getting better.
Tyler, I feel like this offense really fits you because of that. The drop back, the play action game. To me, this pro style system is better fit for you than maybe things you've been in before. Was that part of your thinking and rationale for being a part of this?
No doubt. I think what benefits me is my experience and being able to be in a lot of offenses and coming to this complex one with it's more pro style. there's more on my plate where they're asking me to do different things, and I've had history and experience doing that, and I think that was the mutual understanding and relationship, is that coming here, they're going to have a lot of different personnel, a lot of different formations, and how can we handle that and make the defense nervous, and how can we go attack them, and that's why I loved it from the start, and it's been going good.
We're seeing Chris Bell here in these highlights. What have you seen from him in the spring? Because there's a lot of talk. Could he be that #1 guy?
Man, he's explosive. I think from the jump, when we're throwing routes in the winter, I'm like, man, this guy can go. And obviously I didn't know him beforehand. As soon as we started connecting, he's kind of been my #1 guy in the spring so far. And we still got some other guys that are coming along who are hurt and haven't even been going in the spring, and Ja'Cory Brooks and Jaden Thompson as well. They've been lighting it up just all throughout the spring. But really proud of Chris. He's a big playability for sure.
We mentioned the busy offseason that you had earlier. It was just a couple of weeks ago that you tied the knot. Got the picture. We stole it from your Instagram. We asked permission afterwards, forgiveness instead of permission. What was that like?
Man, it was like a dream. It was perfect sunset on the beach in La Jolla. I got some family in San Diego, and couldn't ask for a better day. And couldn't thank the coaches enough for had a little weekend off in spring ball. And
they let you off. Did they have to reorganize practice? Like, what did you?
Yeah, we talked about it, a while ago. That took Greg a lot out of him though to move that practice. But
so, are you telling us that spring practice was the honeymoon?
Yes.
Oh, how about that? Hits the crossbar and goes through.
One for the good guys.
Nick Keller with the field goal.
When do you work in the honeymoon?
We're going in May when we have our break. So we had the long break, and we'll go to have our honeymoon. But yeah, it was definitely coming back.
Okay, where's the honeymoon?
It's going to be in this little small island in the Bahamas, a little bit closer. We're usually used to the West Coast. So it's kind of nice we're closer to the Caribbean now, but man, we've been loving it.
That's the thing. You get married in San Diego, you have to go somewhere even better for your honeymoon.
Yeah, that's right. We were planning it, and we were like, man, where can we go? It's easy and close to Louisville, and obviously we're not used to it. You got Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Nashville, all these places that are close to Louisville, and there's so much to do. We're like, we can go anywhere we want, so we've been definitely been blessed.
The tough question: easier adjustment, marriage, or integrating yourself into an entire new situation with 85 new teammates?
Man, she makes it easy in the marriage, so I'd probably say getting to know 100+ teammates and working with them every single day. I'm lucky I've had some experience doing it, and these are great guys, and I think we all like to have a lot of fun and work. So it's been tough for sure, but it's been a blast.
You just got a lot of brownie points with your wife.
Yeah, that's it.
No doubt. She's out here in the stands watching.
Hey, before we let you go, this program, I don't know how much you watched of them last year, 10-win season, runner-up in the ACC championship game. Got a lot of Louisville fans as who see Clarkson scramble and they blow the whistle. A lot of Louisville fans watching. What are the expectations here coming up in this fall for this program?
The expectation is to win the ACC championship. I think this program got a taste of what it's like to have a lot of success and build upon it, and now we got to go finish it. And that was kind of one of the reasons I wanted to come here, is to have that standard and to have those talented guys on the team and know what it takes to get there. And obviously myself been on some championship teams at Oregon and kind of seeing what it looks like and kind of bringing that to the table. And I think everybody's really anxious and fired up to get going.
To use a horse racing term, how much are you chomping at the bit to actually show what you can do for a full season?
Chomping at the bit, man. That's a great term. I'm pissed off, honestly. I feel like I'm, really due, and I've had this blessing of opportunity to be able to play this final year, and I think things happen for a reason. I'm really ready to go get after it.
Right. Has it been hard for you to be patient and wait for this after all you've been through to have this opportunity now?
No doubt. I think you work all off season and for multiple years in a row to get cut short through injuries. I think a lot of people can relate to it, and like I said before, you have to believe in everything that happens for a reason. It's under God's plan, and I think I've learned so many lessons. It's brought me to this point right now, and I think we're going to capitalize on it.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Congrats on everything. It's Tyler Shough, starting quarterback coming up in the fall for the Louisville Cardinals. A couple of touchdown passes here tonight, and while we were talking to Tyler, his defense extended the lead, 36-24. But defense will be his best friend coming up in the fall as well. You can just sense the let's go
Yes.
mentality from Tyler Shough.
Yeah. And listen, you know, when you have some injuries, you get this reputation of being injury prone. But remember,
Right.
that was the case with Michael Penix when he was at Indiana and then over to Washington. And it just took one season for him to show people what a dominant quarterback he can be. I think there's a parallel with Tyler Shough because he throws such a great deep ball. If he's healthy, I think he is going to show the nation what kind of a quarterback he is and really set himself up nicely for the future.
Now, Penix had an Adunze, McMillan, he had some guys. Who is the Adunze? Is that, I mean, it's really imperative for them to find that guy, right?
Yeah, that's true. Now, that Washington receiving corps was outstanding. They had 3 or 4 guys who were all really kind of elite. That has to be built here. Right now, Chris Bell is showing that he might be a number 1 guy. We're waiting to see what Ja'Cory Brooks can do when he's, you know, healthy enough. But we don't know for certain if there is that type of talent in the receiving group. Yeah, we have to wait and see.
And they'll have a really good tight end coming in as that pass is incomplete. They'll have Mark Redmond coming over from San Diego State. A lot of experience there. You know, Jeff Brom loves his tight ends. Bryson Hopkins, Payne Durham have had a bunch.
That man, Chris Bell's had a night.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right about that tight end position. You know, Brom likes to stretch the field with the tight end. He likes to have a tight end who can be a factor in the middle of the field and catch more passes than they had last season. We'll see. We'll see if if that group develops.
Something you don't see a whole heck of a lot in the spring game. You know you're not going to get hit when you're wearing shorts at the quarterback position.
Hey, you know what? Shorts at the quarterback position, but look around the field. Almost everybody's playing in bike shorts now.
I mean,
it used to be that the pants had to go below the knee.
I mean, Harrison Bailey looks like he's about to hop onto a Peloton.
Yeah, he's not going to get hit. I mean, it looks like he should have pants on over those, right?
Bailey with the give. Isaac Brown. You see some of that speed around the near side. Isaac Brown, highly regarded out of high school and out of the chute there for a gain of 13.
You know, all the old guys look at guys in uniforms now and they go, if I could have played wearing this attire, my 40 times would have been so much faster. Here he is, old man yelling to get off the grass.
Less than 4 minutes to go here in this spring game. Toss around the far side to Kewan Brown.
It's pretty impressive. Green jersey and short shorts. Yeah, no chance. Nothing to worry about.
Not many can pull it off.
No.
Including him. No, I'm just kidding. 36-24.
You may not see that in another spring game.
The defense with the lead here. And again, we talked to Coach English. Really enjoyed our conversation with the defensive coordinator for Louisville. He has that business-like approach of, look, portal or not, whatever, we've got our guys. We're going to make it work. And how about Bailey making it work for the touchdown?
Wow.
Gain of 31 yards for the score. And that is Jaleel Skinner, transfer from Miami, speaking of those tight ends.
6'5", 225. That is what we're talking about when you say the tight end stretching the middle of the field. This is just right in that seam, perfectly thrown in between the safeties. And it's 6'5", 225. Skinner, the transfer from Miami, can really get up. Probably needs a little bit more strength for blocking purposes, but when it comes to getting down the field, that's what you're looking for.
4 big pass plays tonight of 30 or more yards, and that is music to the ears of Louisville fans and the offensive staff. Enjoying the night here, a couple of weeks away from the Kentucky Derby, and The run for the Roses. There's a lot of excitement here this weekend. Thunder over Louisville tomorrow night. Travis Egan in at quarterback right now. And you got a defense that has a 5-point lead, less than 3 minutes to go. Offense, this is like a game-winning drive here.
Listen, I think based on what we saw last year, we expected that the defense would be good this year. And can the defense shut this drive down now to preserve their 5-point lead? I think the coaching staff knows what they have on defense, and the issue coming into tonight was the offense and how explosive it could be.
Egan over the middle. That's incomplete. Intended for Young. And that defensive backfield, yet again, Aaron Williams. Look, this defensive backfield is going to be one to be reckoned with. You got Aaron Williams, who played with a torn ACL as a senior in high school, and he's ready to go. Tan Holloway's a North Carolina transfer. Corey Thornton, a UCF transfer. Taz Nicholson comes over from Illinois. And, of course, a potential future first-rounder, Quincy Riley. Oh! Knocks it right to the intended receiver, Sam Young, who's going to go to the end zone. Touchdown!
Wow.
Just as we were giving some love to Aaron Williams in the defensive backfield, it goes off the hands of Williams.
The inevitable announcer jinx in spades for Aaron Williams, in good position, and just could not pick it off. And all of a sudden, the offense now has the lead. Wow.
Check out the reaction, just how he drew it up. Green jersey to green jersey. You know, they got a pretty good volleyball program here. Danny Busboom Kelly does a great job here. That was a nice little set at the nets.
Yeah, but you know, Aaron Williams is a guy who has been working his way back after the ACL injury and was looking for a big night. He played well tonight, and he played that ball well. He just didn't pick it off.
Big point after Rainveer puts it through. It's a 1-point lead for the offense now. Sam Young on the receiving end, the junior. Look at the reaction here.
Oh, my.
Out of LaGrange, Kentucky, Oldham County High School. Getting the high five from Clarkson.
You think players aren't competitive in spring games? You think it doesn't matter? You want to be known as a guy who competes all the time and wants to win all the time.
You think Sam Young's going to give up that ball for the rest of the night? I mean, it might be his only touchdown he ever scores, especially on the receiving end. He's going to bed with that one.
Yeah, that one's got to make its way home and into a box and get displayed.
All right, so again, the defense in the red jerseys, an opportunity to get some points here. We'll see how conservative the offense plays. Sam Valton now in at quarterback. The give to guess who? Kris Hughes, who's off and running. Kris Hughes is going to go the distance. Touchdown. 70 yards, another big play for the Cardinals offense.
You talk about speed. Wow. Now, I wonder from the defensive perspective, could you have made a tackle? No, you saw one dive there. And remember, no tackling tonight, but no one was in position to make the play. Wow.
Spring game means something to a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Brock Travelstead with the point after.
Defense could not lock it down. I'm going to blame all that on you. The defense had its way until the last drive of the game when you started praising the defense.
You know, this is like talking about how great a pitcher's throwing a no-hitter.
Right. Yeah.
What a great free throw shooter is. Air ball.
You should know better than that by now.
That's my fault. I've been in this business long enough to know. Don't jinx a spring game performance.
I think Jeff Brom's got to be happy that his offense showed up, and he got the big plays tonight that I think everybody wanted to see.
Hey, the game started with 2 big, long touchdown passes. It ends with 2 long touchdown plays as well. Tyler Shough and company. It's a good game. A lot to be happy about, Rod.
Absolutely. Great night. Thanks. A lot of fun, pal.
A lot of fun. So long from Louisville. Thanks to Kim, our producer, Rocco, SID, and our statistician, and John Tobias, our spotter. So long from Louisville.